If you are watching this and thinking about what might happen if you are laid off, you are already ahead of many, many people. The number one rule I learned from the last recession was live to fight another day. It's a very difficult time right now for a lot of people who may have lost their job or maybe looking at the possibility of that. The typical advice usually starts with cutting back indiscriminately on everything. And I have a different approach that I think is much more powerful, and I call it the CEO approach. C for cut costs, E for earn more, and O for optimize your spending. And with just a few simple calls, you can actually often get thousands of dollars back to your accounts. So let me walk you through each of the steps. C for cut costs. Most of us know that there are some things that we spend money on that we can cut back on. I'm not gonna belabor the point, we already know it. My suggestion for you is pick your 2 or 3 biggest discretionary areas and really focus on those. My second suggestion is based off of a DM that I got from a reader a little while ago. They asked me, do you think I should cancel my wedding, which is 6 months from now? And as someone who has planned a large wedding, I know how difficult and devastating it is to even think about canceling that. But I told him, you gotta cancel it. Because right now, money in your pocket is worth more than money later. So even if you have to cancel certain things where it might cost you reinitiation fees or cancellation fees, eat the cost, because you need that money in your pocket now versus worrying about what will happen later. That's C, cut costs. E, earn more. There are so many opportunities to earn money right now. And we have to remember that for thousands of years, people have paid money to clothe themselves, to entertain ourselves, or just plain things we want. So I have a lot of students in my Earnable program who are starting businesses right now. One of them, for example, started a painting business. You know those old dating things you used to go to, wine and painting? She's doing it online. Amazing. And then O, optimize spending. This is one that a lot of people don't know about. There are 5 big areas that you should make phone calls to right now and call them, and you should see how much money you can get from these companies to help you become more stable financially. These companies are cell phone companies, cable companies, your credit card company, your student loan company if you owe any student loan debt, and finally, even your landlord. And here's what you do. You call them, you say, you know what? I've been a good customer for 3 years. Coronavirus is making it difficult for me to sustain myself financially. I'd like to know what options you have for somebody like me. And many times my readers are doing this and they're reporting they're getting their fees cut in half. They're saving $1,000 from a single phone call. This is money that goes directly into your emergency fund, and it all comes from you following the CEO strategy, specifically O for optimize your spending. The number one rule I learned from the last recession was live to fight another day. Do not allow yourself to get put in such a bad situation that your back is against the wall and you have only bad choices to make. What does that mean? It means plan ahead. If you suspect that your industry is going away or that you're going to be laid off, make a plan for what your options are. Get rid of the narratives that we used to all tell ourselves. I don't have time. I don't have an idea to start a business. We're teaching that in Earnable. I would be happy to teach you myself. Get rid of any preconceived notions about what really, really mattered to you before and start fresh. Do you need to live in this city? Do you need to have this type of job or work in this industry? Start fresh. Maybe you will end up in the same industry, great, but maybe you will decide you're open to a change. Reconsider everything and live to fight another day. Do not allow yourself to get put in a situation where you're down to your last penny. Figure out creative ways of earning more, of cutting on your spending, of optimizing, and make sure that you live to fight another day, because there will be great opportunities and a great future in the long term. One of the key principles to your employment right now is to accept reality. Take a look around and say, is my industry at risk? And to really be brutally honest. Unfortunately, there's not always a silver lining, and some people will be laid off. Some industries will disappear. If you are watching this and thinking about what might happen if you are laid off, you are already ahead of many, many people. So if you suspect that you might be laid off, the first thing to do is just acknowledge it. It doesn't feel good, right? But there's a grieving process that has to happen. But after that, let's talk about what that plan looks like. I would first cut spending drastically. Take a look at all the expenses you've got, target a couple of your biggest discretionary areas, and if you can, cut those areas. Second, I would tell everyone I know that I'm going to be looking for a job. Here's what I'm looking for. Can you introduce me to anyone? It's easier to get a job when you are still employed. So if you have the option to tell people about your job search while you are still employed, it's advantageous to you. In your plan, think about if you have any skills that you might be able to turn into a side business. There are many, many people right now starting side businesses. And although it's difficult to start, of course, there is opportunity even in recessions. So when you are considering that you might be laid off, don't wait to react. Get proactive, make a plan as soon as you can, because if unfortunately it happens, at least you will have a basic playbook that you can follow.